They took everything from me. Now, I take it back.
I didn't expect you.
I know. But I had to see you.
Rain battered the glowing streets of Chicago like the city itself was trying to wash away its sins. Damian Sullivan stood alone beside the tinted glass windows of the 22nd floor of Blackthorn Security Group, watching lightning tear through the sky above Lake Michigan. The reflection staring back at him looked nothing like the man he used to be. His dark hair was streaked with exhaustion. A faint scar curved beneath his jawline. His expensive black suit hid bruises no one ever asked about. The newspapers called him a monster. Television hosts called him ruthless. Politicians smiled in public and whispered his name in fear behind closed doors. But none of them knew the truth. None of them knew every terrible thing Damian had done had started with one desperate promise. Keep Elena alive. Even if she hates you forever. Tonight, after 5 years of silence, she was coming back to Chicago. And the moment her plane landed, the people hunting her would know she had returned. A storm rolled across the city as Damian closed his eyes for one brief second. He remembered Elena's smile. He remembered the sound of her laughter in hospital hallways. He remembered the night she looked at him with tears in her eyes and asked the question that destroyed both of them. Who are you becoming, Damian? He never answered her. Because the truth would have gotten her killed. Before this story begins properly, dear viewers, welcome back to the channel. Wherever you're watching from around the world, drop your location in the comments and let everyone know where you're joining from tonight. How are you all doing? And if you haven't subscribed yet, this is the perfect time to join the family because this story is going to take you through love, betrayal, sacrifice, heartbreak, redemption, and a shocking truth no one saw coming. Now settle in, because the man the world feared most was about to risk everything one final time. The private airport terminal smelled of coffee, wet asphalt, and expensive perfume when Elena Bennett stepped through the arrival doors carrying a single dark blue suitcase. She looked exhausted. Her caramel-colored coat hung loosely over her slim frame, and grief sat heavily in her deep brown eyes. At 32, Elena had spent years working as a trauma surgeon in Seattle, saving lives while trying to outrun memories she could never fully escape. Chicago still haunted her. Especially Damian. A black SUV waited across the street. Elena froze. Her pulse stumbled. She recognized the driver immediately. Vincent Keller. Damian's closest friend. Or at least he used to be. Vincent stepped out into the rain and opened an umbrella. Damian sent me, he said quietly. Elena's expression hardened instantly. I'd rather walk. Someone already tried to follow you from the airport. That made her stop. Vincent lowered his voice. Your brother died because he found something dangerous, Elena. Damian thinks you're next. Thunder cracked above the city. And for the first time in years, fear slid down Elena's spine. Because deep inside, she knew Damian was many things. But he was never wrong about danger. The SUV disappeared into the storm while somewhere across the city, another vehicle followed from a distance. Inside that car, a man lifted a phone to his ear. She's back, he whispered. A long silence answered him. Then a calm voice replied. Make sure this time. Damian can't save her. The city lights blurred against the rain-streaked windows as Elena sat silently in the back seat beside Vincent. Neither of them spoke for several minutes. The tension between them felt old and familiar, like a scar that had never healed properly. Vincent finally sighed. You still hate him. Elena stared outside. Hate would have been easier. Vincent glanced at her through the mirror. Then why did you come back? Her throat tightened. My brother died calling Damian's name. That answer filled the car with silence again. 3 weeks earlier, Elena's younger brother Adrian Bennett had been found dead inside his apartment. Officially, the police called it a robbery gone wrong. But Elena knew Adrian too well. He had sounded terrified during their final phone call. "If anything happens to me, don't trust anyone. Especially people smiling too much." Then he whispered one final thing. "Find Damien." At first, Elena refused. After all, Damien Sullivan was the man who shattered her heart. 5 years ago, she believed they were building a future together. Damien had once been warm, protective, and strangely gentle beneath his intimidating exterior. He would bring coffee to her overnight hospital shifts and sit beside homeless patients while they waited for treatment. He listened more than he spoke. Then everything changed. Overnight, Damien became cold. Violent. Untouchable. Rumors exploded around him. Bribery. Blackmail. Threats. A mysterious fire connected to his company. And the final betrayal came when Elena walked into his office one night and saw blood on his hands. Not metaphorical blood. Real blood. Damien looked at her with empty eyes and told her to leave. So she did. And she never looked back. Until Adrian died. The SUV eventually slowed outside an enormous lakeside mansion surrounded by iron gates. Elena's chest tightened immediately. She remembered this place. She remembered dancing barefoot in the kitchen with Damien at 2 in the morning. She remembered believing she was safe there. Vincent parked. "He's inside." Elena didn't move. "I'm only here for answers." Vincent nodded slowly. "Good luck getting them from him." The front doors opened before she could respond. Damien stood beneath the warm hallway lights. For a moment, neither of them breathed. Years disappeared in absolute silence. Elena hated herself for noticing how tired he looked. Damien hated himself for realizing she still looked like home. His voice came low and controlled. "You shouldn't have come back to Chicago." Elena stepped closer. "My brother is dead." A flicker of pain crossed Damien's face. "I know." "Then tell me why his last message mentioned you." Damien's jaw tightened. "Because Adrian found something people would kill to protect." "And what exactly are you protecting?" she snapped. For one dangerous second, Damien looked ready to answer. But instead, he stepped aside. "Get inside before someone sees you." Elena stared at him with disbelief. "You still think you can order me around?" "No," Damien said quietly. "I think keeping you alive matters more than whether you hate me." The storm outside deepened while Elena walked into the mansion carrying years of anger inside her chest. But neither of them noticed the tiny tracking device hidden beneath the SUV. Someone else had already found them. And before the night ended, blood would stain the mansion floors again. Damien's home no longer felt like a place built for living. It felt like a fortress. Security monitors glowed along one wall. Armed guards moved silently through hallways. Cameras covered every entrance. Elena noticed all of it. "You live like someone preparing for war." Damien poured himself a drink without looking at her. "Sometimes war finds you first." The old Damien used to smile when he looked at her. This version barely allowed himself to breathe near her. Elena folded her arms tightly. Adrian was investigating something before he died. What was it? Damien remained silent. That silence angered her more than shouting ever could. "You don't get to do this again," she said sharply. "You don't get to hide things and expect everyone to trust you." Damien finally turned toward her. And the exhaustion in his eyes almost startled her. "I'm trying to stop you from dying. Maybe I'm tired of being protected by lies." That sentence hit harder than she intended. A long silence followed. Then Damien spoke softly. You think I enjoyed becoming this person? Elena's expression faltered. For a split second, she saw the man she once loved buried beneath years of darkness. Before she could answer, alarms suddenly exploded through the mansion. Red emergency lights flashed across the walls. Vincent's voice shouted through the intercom. Damien. We have movement outside the east gate. Damien instantly grabbed Elena's wrist. Stay behind me. Gunshots erupted outside. Glass shattered. Elena's heart slammed against her ribs as Damien pulled a handgun from a hidden drawer. The sound of men screaming echoed through the mansion. Then the power suddenly died. Darkness swallowed everything. And somewhere inside the black silence, Elena heard footsteps approaching them. Fast. Deliberate. Deadly. She couldn't see Damien anymore. Then his hand found hers in the dark. And despite everything she felt toward him, she realized she had never felt safer in her life. The darkness inside the mansion felt alive. Elena could barely hear her own breathing over the pounding alarms and distant gunfire outside. Somewhere nearby, glass shattered again. Damien moved first. Even in complete darkness, he knew every inch of the room. Down, he whispered. His arm wrapped around Elena's waist and pulled her behind a marble counter just as bullets tore through the windows behind them. The sound exploded like thunder. Elena flinched violently. Damien stayed calm. Too calm. That terrified her even more. Another gunshot rang out. Then Vincent's voice echoed from the hallway. 3 men inside. East corridor. Damien handed Elena the handgun. Her eyes widened. I don't. Point and shoot if anyone except me opens that door. You think I can do this? I think you're stronger than you realize. Before she could respond, Damien disappeared into the darkness. And Elena suddenly understood something she never wanted to admit. This man had spent years living in danger. Not occasional danger. Constant danger. She crouched alone behind the counter while footsteps and shouting echoed through the mansion. Every sound tightened the fear in her chest. Then she heard it. A scream. Vincent. Elena stood instinctively. The hallway lights flickered back on for half a second. Long enough for her to see a masked man charging toward her. She gasped. The gun trembled in her hands. The man lunged. A deafening shot exploded. But not from Elena. Damien tackled the attacker violently into the wall. The impact cracked wood. The attacker pulled a knife. Elena screamed. Damien caught the man's wrist, slammed him against the floor, and disarmed him with brutal precision. Everything happened so fast it barely felt real. Then Damien grabbed the attacker by the collar. Who sent you? The masked man laughed. You can't protect her forever. Damien's eyes darkened. Wrong answer. Before Elena could process what happened next, another armed guard rushed in. Damien, the others escaped. Damien released the attacker instantly. Blood stained his knuckles. Elena stared at him. For a second, the room felt exactly like 5 years ago. That same terrifying control. That same darkness in his eyes. The same man she once loved. And feared. Hours later, silence returned to the mansion. Rain still hammered the windows while Elena sat in the kitchen wrapped in a blanket she didn't remember taking. Damien stood across from her near the counter, cleaning blood from a cut on his hand. Neither of them spoke. The emotional distance between them felt unbearable. Finally Elena broke the silence. Tell me the truth. Damien kept his eyes lowered. You wouldn't believe it. Try me. He exhaled slowly. Adrian discovered financial records connected to several powerful businessmen, judges, and private contractors. Human trafficking routes disguised as medical transport operations. Elena's stomach dropped. What? Children, Damien said quietly. The single word hollowed the room. Elena felt sick. He wanted to expose them. And now he's dead. Damien nodded once. Elena, these people don't just kill witnesses. They erase entire lives. Her voice cracked. Why didn't Adrian come to the police? Damien finally looked at her. Because some of the police were involved. The weight of that truth crushed the air from her lungs. Everything suddenly felt bigger. Darker. More dangerous. And Damien had apparently been fighting it alone. She hated herself for asking the next question. How long have you known? A painful silence followed. 6 years. Elena froze. 6 years. That meant before they separated. Before Damien became the man the world feared. Realization slowly spread across her face. No. Damien looked away. Elena. You changed because of this. He didn't answer. That silence became the answer. And for the first time in years, doubt crept into her anger. The next morning arrived gray and cold. Chicago looked frozen beneath heavy clouds. Elena barely slept. Every time she closed her eyes, she remembered Damien standing in darkness protecting her without hesitation. It confused her. She didn't want to see humanity in him again. That was dangerous. Because once upon a time, she loved him enough to imagine forever. Downstairs, Damien sat alone in his office studying security reports. Vincent entered carrying coffee. You should tell her everything. Damien laughed bitterly. And destroy what little peace she still has. She deserves the truth. Damien's jaw tightened. The truth buried her brother. Vincent sat across from him. You still love her? That question lingered heavily. Damien stared toward the window. There was never a moment I stopped. Meanwhile upstairs, Elena quietly stood outside the office door. And she heard every word. Her chest tightened painfully. She shouldn't have cared. But she did. Because beneath the monster the world saw, part of the man she once knew still existed. Later that afternoon, Elena visited Adrian's abandoned apartment. Dust coated the furniture. Police tape still marked the entrance. The place smelled stale and empty. A life interrupted. Damien insisted on coming with her. They searched in silence until Elena discovered a hidden flash drive taped beneath Adrian's desk. Her hands trembled. Damien immediately looked tense. Don't plug that into anything here. Why? Because if Adrian hid it, someone's probably searching for it. Almost instantly, footsteps echoed outside the apartment. Damien's expression hardened. Move. He pulled Elena toward the back hallway seconds before armed men burst through the front door. Elena's pulse exploded. How did they find us? Damien's eyes narrowed. They're tracking someone. Vincent suddenly called Damien's phone. His voice sounded panicked. The tracking device was planted on my SUV. Damien cursed under his breath. The attackers spread through the apartment. Elena clutched the flash drive tightly. One wrong sound would expose them. She could hear the intruder speaking. Find the drive. Her breathing stopped. They knew. One of the men moved closer toward their hiding spot. Elena's heart pounded so hard she thought it might betray them. Then Damien slowly reached for her hand. His thumb brushed against her fingers once. A small gesture. But somehow grounding. Comforting. Intimate. The same way he used to calm her during long overnight shifts at the hospital. For one dangerous second, Elena forgot how angry she was. Then a police siren suddenly sounded outside. The attackers fled immediately. Damien exhaled. But his expression remained troubled. Someone warned them, he muttered. Elena frowned. What do you mean? Damien looked toward the apartment door. It means there's somebody close to us feeding them information. The realization sent cold fear through Elena. A traitor. Someone nearby. Someone they trusted. That evening, Damien brought Elena to an old hidden safe house outside the city. It was smaller than his mansion. Warmer too. The cabin overlooked a frozen lake surrounded by pine trees. Elena immediately recognized it. You kept this place. Damien nodded quietly. Years ago, they used to escape there during difficult weeks. No bodyguards. No business calls. Just silence and peace. Elena walked slowly through the cabin. Nothing had changed. Even the old photographs remained hidden beside the fireplace. One picture showed her laughing while snow covered Damien's shoulders. Another showed them dancing badly in thick winter socks. Elena swallowed hard. You never moved on. Damien stood still behind her. Neither did you. The honesty in his voice shattered something inside her. Years of anger suddenly collided with grief, confusion, and longing. Elena. She turned toward him. And for the first time since returning to Chicago, the emotional walls between them cracked. Damien stepped closer slowly. Not forcefully. Not arrogantly. Carefully. Like a man terrified of breaking the only thing he still loved. You were the only good thing I ever had, he whispered. Her eyes filled instantly. Then why did you push me away? Pain crossed Damien's face. Because the moment those people learned I loved you, you became a target. The room went silent. Everything Elena believed about the past suddenly shifted. You lied to protect me. I destroyed myself to protect you. That confession hit harder than anything else. Elena stepped back slowly, overwhelmed. Her entire understanding of Damien was beginning to collapse. Suddenly the cabin lights flickered. Damien's expression changed instantly. Danger. He grabbed his weapon. Outside, headlights appeared through the snowy trees. 3 black vehicles approached the cabin. Too fast. Too deliberate. Damien looked at Elena. And for the first time, genuine fear entered his eyes. They found us. This is the end of episode 1. If you enjoyed this story, this is the perfect moment to subscribe, turn on notifications, like the video, and share it with someone who loves powerful Hollywood-style storytelling filled with love, betrayal, mystery, sacrifice, and redemption. Get ready, because episode 2 will be darker, more emotional, more dangerous, and absolutely unforgettable.